Hey, everybody. It is Wednesday again, and it is a Wednesday after hopefully an amazing Christmas. I hope everybody watching had a very Merry Christmas. I am Jeremy Roenick, and welcome to Snipes and Stripes on NoFilter.net. My beautiful partner, Tim Peel, one of the best referees of all time. Tim, I hope you had a great Christmas. How are we feeling? Are you a little, maybe have a little hangover from Christmas, or did you eat too much? Did you have too many presents? Because you had a really, really cool post about your son for Christmas, which I think made everybody tear up and feel great about your family, buddy. So what's going on?
Thanks, buddy. Merry Christmas to you and your family. It was awesome. I feel like a fat pig today. I need to go work out. I drank too much. I ate too much. It's like, dude, you gotta start working out here, because as you know, it happens really easy. It's easy to put it on, and it's even harder to take it off.
You're talking to the king of the putting it on and not taking it off. I'm here in the Bahamas on vacation for Christmas with the family, and we're down by the pool. My wife says, "You're going to work out?" And I said, "I'm just going to stay here and take a little nap on the by the pool." She goes, "You're going the wrong way, kid. You're going the wrong way. You're going to the other side." And I'm just looking at her like, "Oh my gosh, she's right." But I'll find time to get it back. But it's the holidays. I'm on vacation. I don't want to go work out. I worked out yesterday in the gym. I want to sit in the pool. I want to relax, and then start January 1 and get off to a good 2024. So I know what you're feeling, buddy. And I hope everybody out there had a great Christmas, and looking forward to a new great year in 2024. Snipes and Stripes, sponsored by Whiskey in the Wild, which is my beautiful chocolate whiskey. I'm so happy that it is going well. Hopefully everybody out there has been able to go to whiskeyinthewild.com and grab a bottle yourself for the holidays. Tim, you know, our other great sponsor, Bet Online. They've always been a phenomenal supporter of ours, and they got a lot of good things going. And so why don't you take it away with our Bet Online?
Well, the only people that don't get time off this time of year are pro athletes. And us at Bet Online, with the NHL, NFL, bowl season, and NBA in full swing over the holidays, Bet Online isn't taking a second off to make sure you have all these up-to-second odds, news, and info. Bet Online has the sports wagering info available you need with both desktop and mobile access. Head there today to get into the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BELIEVE is BLEAV, and thank you to Bet Online. You and I were hot last week. You won yours. I won my lock. So listen to the show today. We'll give our picks at the end of the show.
So like we said, there's a lot going on. We're 34 games into the season. There's a lot of really cool things happening. Very, very surprising team on top of the list of teams. Number one spot, the Vancouver Canucks. We'll talk about them. How about Austin Matthews just sniping at a torrid place, but yet that we kind of wonder whether that team still has enough defensively to get past that second and third round and get to that final. We got a lot of things to talk about, but let's go over a little bit of the schedule tonight. We have 14 games on the docket. Which one do you want to go to first, Tim? And we try to hit everyone, because we have two special guests that are going to be joining us later in the show. The new PWHL is going to be starting in January, the new Professional Women's Hockey League. And this is an amazing and I think a special time in hockey. Our women are going to start their new pro league. I truly believe that we need to have equal rights in every aspect of the word, and being a professional in that sense is very important. And I'm just so happy that the women have their own pro league that they can call their own. They can make a living to whatever extent that the PWHL is going to be able to provide. And we couldn't have a better time in hockey than to have a new league and having to watch. And I hope everybody supports the PWHL, because I think it's going to be a lot different this time around, starting a women's pro league. So I'm excited. How about you?
I'm really excited for them. I'm happy for them. They deserve it. They've got some great people involved. I saw Cassie Campbell actually went on their advisory board the other day. They've got some great people involved. They're in 6 great hockey markets, and I'm excited for them. And the JR, they've got more Olympic medals between the two of them than you and I could ever imagine. I know you got some, but it's pretty impressive, and I can't wait to have them on. So we'll talk about that later on. But the first game I want to talk about is the Ottawa Senators at the Toronto Maple Leafs. You touched on Austin Matthews. He's got 28 goals in 30 games. Do you think he could get to 70 goals this year? I do.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, I think the bigger question right now is, will he be able to score 50 and 50? And there's only a couple players that have done in the National Hockey League. I think it's Wayne Gretzky, and I know Cam Neely did it. I don't know. I can't remember if anybody else did it, but those are the guys that I know. It's a very, very rare feat to be able to, especially in the league nowadays. And the way that Austin Matthews is going, he can score a hat trick at any time. This guy can shoot the puck. He is as deadly as it comes. His power play specialist, his release. There's not many players in the game that has a release that with the accuracy and the velocity of an Austin Matthews. So I definitely think he can get 70. My question is, can he get 50 and 50?
50 and 50 would be really cool to see. Our good friend Wayne Gretzky, he had 50 in 39 games 1 year, and in the 39th game, that 50th goal was an empty netter.
Netter. Yep, that's right. Isn't that crazy? 50 goals in 39 games.
39 games, unbelievable. But you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited to watch that game tonight. Ottawa's coming on. I'm a big Jacques Martin fan. I love Jacques. I think he's exactly what Ottawa needs right now. I've watched they were up 3-0 to Arizona the other night. Blew a 3-0 lead, right, and lost the game. But I see them making strides in the right direction. It was long overdue for them to fire DJ Smith. It had to be done. Jacques Martin and Danny Alfredson on the bench, I think it's going to bring a calming influence to them. That's going to be a phenomenal game tonight, Ottawa and Toronto. I'm excited to watch that. I'm also excited to watch, or I'm looking forward to watching the New Jersey Devils. They're at home to Columbus. And I've got some concerns with New Jersey because they're out of the playoff spot as of today. When the season started, I don't think any of us ever thought that New Jersey wouldn't make the playoffs this year. But their goaltending has struggled, and this is the franchise that Marty.
It's everything.
It's everything.
It's everything. Well, listen, the Devils made a very bold decision in the offseason and traded away two prominent defensemen, very strong defensemen, okay, that were a key cog on their team. Replacing a third and a fourth defenseman on a team is very difficult in the league right now. And to not get anything back that is making a difference right now, and not getting a goaltender in return, a goaltender, as well as I do, that's the most important part of a team. That's your backstop. That's the guy that is that is the last line of defense. And when you can't trust a goaltender, your team is coming onto the ice before every game and is saying to themselves, which goaltender is showing up. That Vanacek is not a very good goaltender. No. And he has a lot of holes. He's very spotty. He's not consistent. And you can't have a confident team and a successful team going to a Stanley Cup or thinking you're going to win a Stanley Cup when you're walking onto the ice questioning your goaltender. And that's exactly what's happening in New Jersey right now. And listen, there's still 4 games over 500, but they're a -6 in goals for and goals against. And here's a team that was just lighting it up last year that everybody thought would be doing a lot better, but defensively and goaltending wise is a huge problem. And this is not, I don't think this is a Lindy Ruff problem.
No, I don't either.
This is a GM issue. They have the forwards, they have superstar talent. This is something for Fitzy to go out and say, and Fitzy's a very smart hockey man. Tom Fitzgerald knows the game and knows what his team needs. It's going to be really interesting to see what Fitzy does to try to go out and heal this problem in net.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big piece to their puzzle is missing Dougie Hamilton now on the back end. He's got a torn pectoral muscle, and they got to get him back. Dougie Hamilton's a key part of that team. So we'll see what happens. Washington Rangers are underway. That'll be a good game tonight.
What is happening with the Washington Capitals? This team is probably one of the most perplexing teams in the National Hockey League. Okay, because you have the best scorer on the planet right now in Alex Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin just went on his career high goal drought. I think he went 18 games without scoring a goal. 18 games. Alex Ovechkin. And he has now, I believe he has 6 goals. 3 of them, I know 2 of them, but 3 of them I think are empty netters. And it's going to be interesting. He got the overtime winner the other day against Columbus, which I think you would think would propel Alexander Ovechkin, but this team is not even scoring. However, defensively, they've been fantastic. They've only let up 86 goals. I think they're in the top 5 in goals against. But this is the Washington Capitals with Alex Ovechkin and Kuznetsov, and they have 77 goals for. The worst, almost the worst in the National Hockey League.
They got good goaltending, buddy. They got Darcy Kemper, and they've got Charlie Sideburns Lindgren. He played here in St. Louis. He has played unbelievable for Washington. We have to give a shout out. I didn't even know who he was, and I apologize. It's not a slight to him, but Spencer Carberry, the head coach of the Washington Capitals, when he was hired this past summer, I think he was an assistant maybe in Toronto at some point. I don't know. And I should have done my research. I apologize. But he was a guy that I didn't know anything about. And you got to give credit where credit's due. He's done a tremendous job with this team, because you and I, 2 or 3 weeks into the season, was writing Washington off, saying this team is not making the playoffs. So very impressive. Shout out to Spencer Carberry. I hope Washington can make it. The league's a better league when we've got guys like Alexander Ovechkin in the playoffs. So I'm rooting for them. Let's go to the
hold on real quick. With the struggles that we're seeing Ovechkin have right now, seeing that this team they're not on an upswing in terms of their talent, their age.
No, they're not.
Are there people, and are you starting to question whether Alex Ovechkin can catch Gretz now? Because he's only 67 away. I mean, he's within striking distance, but you're not going to do it if you don't score every 20 games, every 19 games, which you know is not going to happen. But when you start seeing this creep in, when you start seeing guys have their age catch up to them and start showing their age, it's only going to get worse. Does Alex Ovechkin break Gretzky's record? I mean, he's got to be questioned now. I
don't think he does, and especially after he lost Nicholas Backstrom. That was that was the Hall of Notes, right? That was Backstrom to Ovi. I just can't see him breaking his record. I think, like you said, age is catching up to him. He doesn't have the talent around him. Oshie's getting older and slower, and I love Osh, but I just don't see him breaking his record. And you know what? Maybe some records aren't made to be broken. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Wayne. I saw an interview that he did the other day. He didn't like breaking Gordie Howe's record because he admired Gordie Howe so much. So you know what? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to, and I hope he doesn't.
Well, we got a couple interesting teams to talk about, especially with 2 of the icons that we've had in the National Hockey League over the last 15, 16 years, and that's Malkin and Crosby, struggling mightily in Pittsburgh. They are in the island tonight, and the New York Islanders could be a tough team to play against. But the Pittsburgh Penguins are having so many problems. They brought on some pretty good players in the offseason, but it seems that the one with Erik Karlsson, this doesn't seem to be working for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This trial with Erik Karlsson on the back end, having Chris Letang there and Erik Karlsson, it just seems like there's too many issues and too many inconsistencies with this team, which is so unlike a team with a Sidney Crosby on it, right? One of the best players in the history of the game and one of the best leaders in all of sports. I don't think Pittsburgh makes the playoffs, buddy. I think they're in big trouble. Yes, they are over 500. Okay, 15-13, but that Metropolitan Division is a monster.
It is.
It's only Columbus is under 500. Pittsburgh's the second to last in that division, and they're 2 games over 500. I don't see the Penguins being able to make a run. And I say this because it's very early, but it seems like it's going the wrong way for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, there's no. We haven't seen anything where there's been any consistency where they'll go on a 4 or 5 game run. It's win 2, lose 1, win 1, lose 2. Mike Sullivan, as you know, is a tremendous coach. But at the end of the day, there's one puck. And I got a funny suspicion that Letang and Carlson don't like sharing that one puck.
No way.
They've got big egos, both of those guys. They're superstars in their own right. And I just don't think that experiment is working in Pittsburgh. And it's unfortunate because, we've been talking about keeping the band together the last few years. Is this the last year that we're going to be able to say that? I don't see Pittsburgh making the playoffs and jumping above teams that are ahead of them right now because, as you mentioned, the Metropolitan Division is so difficult.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And the Islanders are just one of those steady teams. They play extremely, extremely good defensively. That Sorokin is, without a doubt, one of the most dynamic, one of the most unbelievable goaltenders in the league. And I was fortunate to see a lot of the Islanders earlier this year. They had an off day and they were playing golf, and I played golf with a couple of them. Mm-hmm. They talked about Sorokin like he was the next thing coming to God. I mean, the way that they talked about this goaltender and how good he was in practice, how stubborn he is in practice. This New Jersey, this Long Island team, the Islanders they could be dangerous. I wouldn't want to play against them in any kind of playoff game with their tenacity and their defensive style game. They play a 20-man defensive core system brand of hockey.
Well, their head coach is Lane Lambert, and I love Lane. And he was the assistant coach to Barry Trotz for 3 or 4 years in Long Island. So you know that, as you mentioned, this team plays with structure. They play with discipline. I said to Barry Trotz my last year in the league, I went up to Barry. It was going to be one of the last times that I saw the New York Islanders. And I went up to Barry and I said, Barry, I would referee your team 82 games a year. And all the players are sitting there. And he goes, why would you say that, Pillsy? I go, he never yells at the refs. The players really don't yell at the refs. They've got a formula there and it starts with Lou Lamoriello, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for. The only time you'll see them yell at the refs is when the refs really screw up. This team is focused. They're structured. You talk about their defense. When the Blues won the cup, every defenseman was 6 foot and over. When Vegas won the cup, every one of their shortest defenseman was Alec Martinez at 6'2". Their biggest defenseman was Nick Hague at 6'6". It's the same thing with the Islanders. They got big defensemen. Big defensemen, long sticks, tough to get on the inside, right? So I'm with you. You know what? And the Islander fans deserve it. They really do.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
They feel very slighted when Tavares left, and there's still bitterness there. But you know what? That's a great fan base there, and I'm hoping it looks like they're on their way to making the playoffs this year, which should be great for the league.
Yeah, I'm looking at our chat line here. Nick says Sabres are playing Bruins tonight. They should score 6, right? No, Nick, they're not going to score 6 against the Bruins. I don't see that coming. But I do. I will give the Buffalo Sabres credit. They really played really well in their building last week and gave their fans something to get excited about. So maybe something clicked in Buffalo after they heard your mine rant last week and pretty much told them how bad they were at home because they was. But now we'll see if they can put 2 together.
That's the thing.
Can the Buffalo Sabres put 2 together and beat one of their rivals, interdivision rivals, the Boston Bruins, which should really put some momentum into their team?
Well, Boston's lost 4 in a row. I was listening to Jimmy Montgomery today on NHL radio. Boston's lost 4 in a row. Buffalo's coming in. Buffalo went in there a few weeks ago, and I think 10 days ago.
Beat them 3-1. They beat them 3-1.
Beat them 3-1. to your point, this Buffalo team has driven you and I crazy because, as you mentioned, Kyle Okposo's 1,000th game at home, they shit the bed. They came out flat. They were terrible. There was another game, was it home to Toronto, where or was it Toronto? Anyway, they're just so inconsistent at home. It's almost like they play better on the road, and I don't get that. So I think Boston's going to beat them tonight. There's something about that Buffalo team, the makeup of the team. I'm not a big Jeff Skinner fan. I don't think he's a team guy. And I don't think they've got the leadership. I love Kyle Okposo. I love the guy, but I don't think they have the leadership on that team to make them a consistent team night in and night out. And you know what it takes to win in the National Hockey League, and it's a commitment every night. I don't know if they have that commitment.
Did you watch the game the other night? There was a bunch of misconducts. Nick's asking about the refereeing in that game. There's a lot of misconducts that were going on in Buffalo. It seems like they got a little burr up their ass right now, and maybe feeling a little pressure coming from management. But did you see any of that game? Did you see any of that game and how that game was reffed?
I did. I thought the officials, I don't think the officials honestly had any bearing on the game. I thought it was fine. I saw Johnson got a 10-minute misconduct. Well, he got a misconduct because he got issued a 5 minutes for fighting and an additional minor. And when he heard this, he came out of the box to yell at the refs, and immediately they gave him a 10. And then I didn't see on camera what Jeff Skinner did. But to my point, Skinner's a smart ass. He probably said something stupid, and he got a 10-minute misconduct. And that's what happens when they're, like you alluded to, they're feeling the heat, and all of a sudden now they want to blame the refs. And I always said to teams and players, I said, good teams don't blame the officials. When teams are struggling, the easiest thing to do is blame the officials. So the Buffalo Sabres, the reason you're not losing or you're winning right now is not because of the NHL officials.
Yeah, exactly. So just to remind everybody, we are going to be joined by two fantastic guests, Jincy Dunne-Roese and Ella Shelton from the new PWHL. They're going to come on and talk about their league starting up next week. Very exciting 2024 for our female partners in the hockey world. So we'll look forward to seeing them here in a little bit. What's going on in St. Louis there? Since their coaching change, they're over 500. They've been winning some hockey games. They got a really good team coming in Dallas. Dallas 10. What are they like? I think they're something like 28-4 right now. They're playing great hockey. Very tough team to play against. But is St. Louis kind of gotten the message even after they got rid of our boy Chief?
I don't know. We'll wait and see. There's always that sugar rush when a new coach comes in. They're 4-1 under Drew Bannister. This guy has paid his dues in the American Hockey League. The guy's played in Europe. He played 100 games or so in the NHL. I don't know a lot about him, but what I understand is he's very structured. A lot of these guys, for example, Kyrou, he coached Kyrou in the American League. A lot of these guys played under him. Very similar to when John Cooper took over the Tampa job. A lot of those guys had played for Coop in Syracuse. So we'll see. You know what? 5 games isn't enough to tell. There's certainly been a pep in Kyrou's step since Chief was let go. And it's no secret that him and Kyrou didn't see eye to eye. But in fairness to Chief, he just was asking Kyrou to play a 200-foot game. And I don't think that's in Kyrou's DNA to play a 200-foot game. So we'll see what happens. I don't think they're D strong enough. And I don't think they're deep enough up front. I think this is a team that it'll come down to the last week, whether they're going to make the playoffs. And they're the type of team, they're going to win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 2. Not a lot of consistency there.
Too inconsistent. Yeah, can't do that. We'll talk about a team that's been consistent and a team that's not playing tonight, but we have to make mention of them before our guests join us in about 5 minutes. But the Vancouver Canucks, I think, are surprising the entire hockey world. And what Rick Tocchet is doing over there on the west coast of Canada is nothing short of miraculous. He has taken a team that, yes, has had talent, but has underachieved and has convinced these guys that they are a good hockey team and has really found a way to allow all the talent that Vancouver has on that roster to flourish. Now, they have 49 points, the number one team in the league. The number one team in the league, Tim, is the Vancouver Canucks. And this is astonishing. They have 135 goals for and 89 against. That's 46 plus 46 in the goal differential column. That is unbelievable. Not only are they lighting it up, but they're also playing really strong defense, which is not what we've seen in Vancouver with this same roster last year. Way to go, Talk. What an unbelievable job Rick Tockett's doing. And I'm telling you right now, Rick Tocchet, if it was today, is the coach of the year, the Jack Adams, no question whatsoever.
100%. Nobody, you and I, nobody thought that December 27th, that the Vancouver Canucks would be in first place in the NHL, 2 points over Vegas. Nobody saw it coming. They're getting phenomenal goaltending from Thatcher Demko. Phenomenal goaltending. They've got Quinn Hughes has 44 points. Is this guy, Jer, and this is a serious question, is this guy a better defenseman than Cale Makar? Is he? I don't like.
The answer to that question is no. I think is no. I mean, Cale Makar is I think the Connor McDavid of defensemen.
Sure.
And yes, the points are huge. There's no question about it. I think you have a guy in Quinn Hughes who plays a lot of every power play. And I know, yes, so does Cale Makar, but Cale Makar has a couple other defensemen that are pretty damn good that log a lot of power play time too. I would like to see what that number is in terms of power play points and power play time between Quinn and Makar, but they are both unbelievably and dynamic to watch. Aren't they awesome? And they control a game from back there. It's a different style of game. When you have two defensemen that can move the puck and put it tape to tape and put it into your forward's hands, to go on the offense like they do, that's an animal that is very, very difficult to stop. And it's a trait that a lot of teams don't have with defensemen.
When Rick Tocchet was putting his coaching staff together, he hired Adam Foote as his D coach, right? Adam Foote, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think had ever coached in the NHL before. Maybe a little bit. I don't remember him ever being a coach. I don't think he coached in Colorado. I don't think he's been a coach in the NHL. Adam Foote.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No. And he's assembled this coaching staff. Talk is going to do it his way. You and I are close friends with him. You played with him. He's the best guy. I'm happy for him. And this team, you got JT Miller, you got this how do you pronounce his name? I sound like Don Cherry right now. I can't pronounce Kuzmetsov or whatever his name is. They've got a good hockey team. They got a lot of. I watched their game the other night. They were playing Jersey, actually. Phenomenal game to watch. Fast. So yeah.
Look at Besser. Besser's throwing the puck in the net like it's going out of style. JT Miller's a great hockey player. Elias Pettersson is having another huge year. Will Quinn win the Hart Trophy? Keith Ness? Probably not. But he's right now he could be up in that that talk of the top five that would be on it here at game 34, 35 into the season. And by the way, Austin Matthews scored again tonight, so he's got 29.
Unbelievable.
So he keeps just lighting it up at a furious clip. He could get 3 tonight. Playing Ottawa at home, scoring early. Let me tell you what happens when a sniper scores early. He scored at 5 minutes into the game. When you score a goal early, all of a sudden it's almost like the whole world of pressure just falls off your shoulders, and you have just an absolutely different mind frame every time you go on the ice because I got that first one out of the way. I got my point. I got my goal. Now I can go get 2. Now I can go get 3. This is going to be a big night, and that changes the way that you play the game. I think Austin could get 2 or 3 tonight. You watch how this guy
Now
goes
you
tonight.
go on the hunt, right? Like you're on the attack. You're on the hunt. It's like you go.
Yeah.
It's like
especially early.
You go birdie, you go birdie in golf. You're like, I want another one. I want another one. So before we bring on the ladies, there is one team that I want to bring up because since they signed Patrick Kane, they've played 10 games and they've got 2 wins. What is going on in Detroit?
Listen, I think it's really easy for a team when you sign a superstar, or no matter how old you are. Patrick Kane is a superstar, even though he's 35, closer to 36. It is very easy for a team just to take their foot off the pedal. It's very easy to say, "Hey, here comes the saving grace. Here comes the cavalry. You know, we can get it going and we can get going here." So, hey, look what we got. We got Jincy Dunne-Roese. What's up?
Oh, how are you?
What's happening, Jincy? Thanks for joining Snipes and Stripes here on No Filter. We are absolutely excited. My partner Tim Peel, who I don't know if you watch him ref at all, but he was just an average referee, but he's an amazing guy. So, welcome to the show, Jincy. We're really excited to have you, and tell us how excited you are right now, getting ready to go into 2024 and starting the PWHL. You got to be just.
Oh my gosh. It's a dream come true. This is it's been above and beyond. Here in Ottawa, I can't speak for other teams, but at least in Ottawa, I mean, we have it made. We have a whole city that cares, that's backing us. We have over 8,000 people coming to our first game. For once we're getting all the benefits. We don't have to go out and find another job or find something on the side to make extra money. We just get to play hockey and enjoy it. So it's awesome. This is a dream come true.
How important is that? Because we've been waiting for something special to happen in female hockey. And I know that there's been a couple pro leagues, or at least pro teams, that have been trying to start something. But how important is that to be able to get a paycheck, go play the game that you love, and every 15th and 30th, there's going to be a nice envelope waiting on your, just like we used to do. You got to be really excited about that, because I know for me, I'm really excited and proud that you guys are getting this opportunity, and I hope everybody supports the PWHL as much as possible, and it goes for a long time. But how important is that to get a paycheck now?
Oh my gosh, it's huge. First of all, it makes my husband excited. Then I can contribute to some of the finances. But it's so important. Like, if you think about it, we, in the off season, we need all the same things that guys in the NHL do. We need trainers. We need good nutrition. We need all these things that make you an elite athlete. We need treatment, and that costs money. And so, we're not having to go out and get other jobs that really wear us down. We can just put everything into hockey and just really get to grow in what we love and become the best at what we do, because we have those resources to support us. So it's huge. And not only that, for little girls, how great is that for them to know that they have something that, if they love hockey, they can continue to do it if that's what they want to do. So it's huge.
Jincy, first of all, congratulations. I know you got married in June to Isaac. Yeah. And I know a little bit about you, a little bit more about you than maybe my partner here, because you grew up about 15 minutes from where I live, and I live in Chesterfield.
Oh, yeah.
You grew up in O'Fallon, Missouri, correct?
Yeah, I did.
Tell us a little bit about your hockey family, because it's remarkable, the sisters, your brothers in the Columbus organization. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I have an older sister. She's 14 months older than me. She played at Ohio State with me. So we grew up basically playing together. I have Josh, who is right under me. He's with the Columbus organization. He's actually also dating Ella, who's on the New York team in the PWHL. So she was going to be on tonight. Yeah, so they played at Clarkson together. And so Josh is in the Columbus organization. So our birth years are 96, 97, 98. So we were pretty much at every tournament together. Then there's a 3-year gap. And then there's Josie, who's an 02. She's currently at the University of Minnesota. There's James, who he played growing up, and he's in college now, just at Oklahoma State playing club. And then there's the baby Joy, who's an 05, and she is playing at Ohio State right now. So we were always at Hardee's. That's where we practiced, did homework, had quiet time. That was where we lived. Basically, it was Hardee's Iceplex in Chesterfield.
That's unbelievable. Have you been to our new facility in Chesterfield, the Maryville?
Oh, Maryville. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maryville's super nice. That's where I actually run my girls' camps in the summers out of Maryville.
Oh, good. Well, I'll have
Yeah.
to stop by. That's fantastic. That's the
Yeah.
number. JR, is that unbelievable? That hockey family. It's like
I want to know, how did your parents get everybody to all their games? There's only 2 of them, and they're running people from one game to another
Yeah.
game. It must have been mayhem, and how cool is that to be able to do it all together and support each other? And that's a big family of hockey players. And there's, with 2 parents that are battling back and forth, that must have been pretty tough scheduling.
Oh yeah, well, we broke them. They're a little crazy now. But no, they were great. They're amazing. I don't know how they balanced it. But I think because we were all so close in age, they can kind of like pair us up, and we always had a partner that we were with. So they made it 2 groups instead of 6 kids. But yeah, it was awesome. And I think us all having played, we could all share in that, this is what you're doing well, let's get better, this is what we can work on, you have these strengths, teach me, I have these weaknesses, help me. And so it's really great. Like our 3 younger siblings, they just like want to learn everything, and they ask us, and Josh, like, he watches all my games and he gives me great feedback. And so it's just great to have that support system. And then when my parents are like, you guys need to do this, we're like, well, you didn't play, so then it becomes 6 against 2. So yeah, it's good.
How about the bragging? Obviously, you've played in the Olympics. You won a silver medal. I mean, world championships. The awards is unbelievable. Talk about what it was like to play in the Olympic Games. I know what I felt like. I won a silver medal.
Yeah.
Also, I know what it meant to me. But you guys, the U.S. team, always had a bitter rival with the Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was like playing in the Olympics, knowing what was possibly going to happen and how it worked out for you. But tell us a little bit about playing in the Olympics and being able to win a medal. And, is there goods, negatives, and positives? There's something you wish would have gone different, obviously winning, but still what you did is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah. So I would say with the Olympics, I mean, that was a gift, like, to be able to get to say that I did that and participate in the Olympics and have my medal and get to share that with people, and like just the joy on people's face when they see an Olympic medal. It reminds you of like, this is so rare, this is so cool. Like I just feel really lucky and just blessed that was something that's a part of my story that I get to share with people. I will say the Olympics in China during COVID were different.
Oh, wow.
There was some difficult experiences. But again, like, opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies.
Anything that pops out to you, like, really quick, of something that was just like, I can't believe we're doing this?
Well, some of the food was questionable. That on the negative side. Some of the food was a little bit scary. But on, like, again, opening ceremonies, when you walked down the tunnel and you walked in, you saw all the lights and the music, and they did have some fans, but just seeing all the other athletes and just how proud they were to represent their countries, that for me was very cool to get to see that.
Jincy, this question, you might not expect this question, but we have female officials in football in the NFL. Mm-hmm. We have female officials in the NBA. I think it's time that we have female officials in the NHL. And I'm going to make a statement. I don't want you to think, oh, geez. Oh, yeah. 15 years ago, when Bob Probert and Ty Domi were fighting, the chances are a female linesman probably couldn't break Ty Domi and Bob Probert up, right? Because of pure size. But we've got away from that style of play, and there really isn't a lot of fighting anymore. Do you think it's time that, I know Mo Mantha that plays for Washington, I think his sister Elizabeth is trying it out in the American Hockey League. Mm-hmm. The timing's right for a female to make it as an official in the NHL? Because I do.
Yeah, I think it's time. I mean, I think it's time for people to just, if they have something and they want to do it, like, give them the opportunity to go ahead and try it. I do think, though, with our league, that I think it should be a goal for female refs to want to ref in our PWHL. I think that should be, for women need to build women up, and there's nothing wrong with going and being a ref in the NHL, but, like, why not be a part of this and help grow our game from a referee standpoint?
Maybe you guys are a feeder system to the NHL. Maybe they work in your league, and the NHL comes and scouts them and says, you know what, we really like this referee or lines person. We're gonna we're gonna promote. So maybe it works as a feeder system too. But I agree with you 100% that those women should referee in your league.
Well, there's no reason why they shouldn't. There's no reason why they shouldn't. I've watched a lot of women's games. I've done a lot of television for the Olympics and watched a lot of really smart hockey players play this game. I've seen women that have shown hockey IQ as sharp as the men, and that's what you need as a referee. And so in the PWHL, is it going to be right now that what all male, or are they going to try to sprinkle in some female referees? Have you heard anything about how they're going to work that?
Yeah, I mean, I think us being an all-female league, they're trying to get as many females as possible. But in Utica, we did have a good mix of male and female refs in our preseason games.
So I got to ask you this. I think this is a really important question, because I really want this league to be successful. I want people to come out, and I want them to support this league, not only on television but in the stands. So come out and buy a ticket. Have their jerseys on of their favorite players. Is there something that might be different, or that the league might be planning to do? Do you think there's something that you guys can do as players that can make sure that people follow, that they come in and they become fans, that they support this? I actually asked this: do you think that the women should be able to play contact and hit like the men? Do you think they should fight like the men? Because we know in the National Hockey League, a lot of people come to watch the fights in hockey, and they have for a long time, even though fighting has diminished. But do you think that that the league should allow the physical contact amongst women play? Because you guys play the game hard and can play the game hard. What do you think about that aspect and allowing that?
I think our games get very physical. I think, and when people come to see a game for the first time, they're like, wow, you guys really hit each other hard. And we're like, yeah, like we're trying to get the puck back. I think in terms of like fighting, I know I'm not dropping the gloves because I know that I'm going to punch a cage, and that's not it for me. And I can't think of anyone who's going to like want to take off their cage. We like our cages and our bubbles. We appreciate those.
Don't want to mess up that pretty face either. Trust me, I'm right with you. But I know it's radical. But I think at some times, at some point, some radical things need to be instituted in not just women's hockey, but in a lot of things that will draw attention to you guys.
Yeah. And I do think our games do get very physical. And I know that with the reffing in Utica, that was one thing they were trying out there. Like, we encourage that physical play. We want that physical play. And like that's just part of the game. That's what makes it, special. And on the women's side, what's cool about that is when people are trying to like make moves out of those hits or be deceptive. So I think the game is pretty physical as is. I think that there can be room for it to get a little bit more physical within the rules of the game. And there's actually quite a few fights that go on in the games regardless, because we're competitive.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
To educate some of the listeners, give me, who's the Connor McDavid of your league? Who's the and who are the ladies that we should really look out for, whatever they're on?
So Marie-Philippe Poulin and Hillary Knight are the two that come to mind right off the top. They have just been huge pioneers in the game. I mean, probably add up their game winners, and that's a lot of goals.
Well, they both seem, sorry to interrupt, but they both seem like they've been around for 20 years each, right?
Yes, they have. They have played through how this game has evolved. They are a huge reason of why we're here today. So those two have a lot. Those are probably the two of the biggest names in the game. Kendall Coyne, she has been a huge pioneer. She was the first woman to participate in the NHL All-Star, and did the fastest skater, and she's written a book, and so she's amazing behind the scenes too. There's so much she's done for this game that she will never even take credit for. Brianne Jenner, I've had the opportunity to play with her so far in Ottawa, and to just learn from her and see what she does behind the scenes. And she's so skilled. Like, her slip plays, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go against someone else now because I know you're gonna beat me again. but yeah, so those are some that pop into mind right away. In terms of defensemen, Megan Keller, she's an awesome defenseman. She's great. She's big. In terms of like just defense, she's just so well rounded, and then offensively, she's a big threat on the blue line. I'm trying to think
No,
of who else.
I
There's a
did
lot.
notice the other day you were the third star in one of the games.
Yeah.
And but you didn't have any points. So what's your style of play? So
Yeah. My style can be one that coaches love, or it can just drive them nuts. It's very creative, I would say. I would say strength of my game is vision.
Okay.
And just, I think no matter what, I'm going to figure it out. So you can throw pressure on me 3 different ways, and I might find 3 different ways to get out of it. Skating, I've been told I'm a great skater. Be out moving on the blue line, just trying to create. Like, I think that's a big part of my game, and that's part I enjoy. It's like those little plays that go like, someone doesn't know hockey, they might notice it, but like someone that does notice it, like those little plays, I think just make a huge difference. So I like to do those things.
So tell us a little bit about the league. There's 3 teams in Canada, 3 teams in the U.S.
Yep.
Tell everybody where they are, and do any of the teams have a name yet? Because I heard there was a little time delay on whether the teams were going to have logos and names, and how's that moving along?
Yeah. So there's the 3 U.S. cities are Boston, New York, and Minneapolis. The New York team's actually out of Stamford. I think that's where they're at this year.
That's right. Yeah.
And then the 3 Canadian cities are Ottawa, Montreal, and Toronto. In terms of like names and logos, we have not heard anything about that. Honestly, most of us don't even care because we're just here. We get to do this. It's awesome. Like, I think when you've been waiting so long, you're like, who cares about a name? We'll just call each other Ottawa and be excited about that,
Mhm.
So yeah, we haven't heard much on that, but we know colors, and basically everything that they've put out there is what we know.
And you're going to play where the Ottawa Senators play? Is that where you're going to play?
Nope. So they're actually out in Canada. I think that's where they're at. We're actually at TD Arena. So where the Ottawa 67s play
that's even
is
better.
where we're at. Yeah. So it's like a smaller barn feel
Right.
that we'll be able to sell out pretty good.
And what about the other teams? Are they going to play in arenas similar to that, or?
Most of the arenas are around the size, except for Minneapolis. They're playing at the XL Center.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
Okay.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
I've played in a few of those buildings. That arena in Greenwich in Stamford is going to be a lot of fun for them to play out of. No, I think this is fantastic. You're a defenseman, and are you I hear that you might be assistant captain. I know you are the rep for the team. You think you're going to get an A on your sweater? Because from what I hear, you have a lot of respect of your teammates, and it seems like you're going to get a little A on your sweater. So what does it feel like to maybe be one of the leaders of the first teams?
Yeah, I would be so honored. I mean, the fact that I'm so grateful to be named player rep, I did not see that coming. But I think, whether I have a letter on my jersey or not, it just doesn't matter to me. I just want to be here. I want to be a resource. I want to just serve my teammates and encourage them, and just try and do things the right way all the time. And I think that's a way that gains respect for people. I think if letter or not, I don't know about that. I would be so honored, because I think of the locker room, and there's a lot of women that I have respect for that are deserving of that as well. So yeah, I'm really in a good situation of just, like, again, Brianne Jenner, Emily Clark, Emma Smashmeyer. They just do all the things the right way, and it's just been so fun to learn from them, to see how they, are pros and really live that out every day.
You know what I've noticed in St. Louis, Jincy, and you probably see it when you come back every once in a while. I was watching a game the other day. It was like it was a AAA team, and I said, "Is there a goaltender girl?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yeah, their goaltender's a girl on a AAA team, right?"
Yeah.
It's remarkable the strides. You see it all around the country, but especially in St. Louis with the programs in St. Louis, it's really gone to another level with women. That must make you so proud when you come back and see that.
Yeah, it does. It's awesome. I would love to see the women's game in St. Louis continue to grow.
Right.
And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think I was actually the first girl to play for the Junior Blues back in the day. And that was because Jordan James was our coach.
Oh, Jordan.
And Jordan was our coach. And I know he was coaching the year before with Al McInnes. And Al had a daughter, and I was playing with Lauren. And then Al was like, Jordan, I think you should take Jincy for your team. And then that's how kind of like started a trickle effect. So that it's been cool to see, but like I think back to when I played growing up, and I'm so grateful for my time with the guys. I was so spoiled being on a guys team where they were just really, really good towards me.
Yeah.
But I look back and I would have been like, oh, it would have been fun also to play in a girls team, because there's a lot you miss out on being the girl on a guys team. And it's hard. I always felt bad in a way sometimes for the guys having a girl on the team, because I knew that, I walk into the locker room, some of the stuff they had to clean it up. They just,
Yeah.
but
Let me ask you.
it is cool.
Yeah, I want to ask one last question, then you've got it. Do you guys yell at referees like the men yell? Do you like you do? That's good.
Yes,
like, yeah,
we
okay,
do.
good. That's you should, because there's.
We absolutely do.
So you guys.
That's what referees. That's what referees are for, to yell at, Tim. That's the only reason they're good for. There is to yell at.
We had one guy in Utica, so we had some AHL refs come to Utica to ref, and that's who I heard maybe might be reffing us. I don't know for sure, but there was one guy you could tell he was like, "This is my first women's game. Like, give me feedback." And he called like a really weak, in my opinion, a really weak stick penalty on me,
Sure.
and I kind of got on him. I'm like, look at me, and he wouldn't look at me. He wouldn't make eye contact, and I'm like giving it to him. I'm like, no, you need to look at me. And so it was he didn't know how to deal with me in that moment, but
Yeah, my wife does that to me too, and I don't like to look at her either. So
and he was like this. He was kind of like,
no, that's intimidating.
Like, no. Yeah.
So one last question for you, Jincy. I think it's a very important one.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing around the city to promote yourselves? What are you guys doing in the community to get the word out? And how important is this for female hockey, starting all the way down to the 5-year-olds and kids starting it? Because you guys are going to be the kingpins of a lot of young girls that are going to start playing hockey. Like how cool is that? And what are you guys doing to make sure that that the women's game prospers, not only where you guys are, but in the youth level?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's huge. I think for us, from a community standpoint, we need to make ourselves available. We need to be the ones to go and drive this thing. I think in Ottawa, we have a great setup because the whole city is behind us and we can feel that. And they have done a great job of promoting us. And like we had the mayor come and he did something for us. And, the senators have been helping out and the 67s have been helping out. And so a lot of that's on us too, to make sure we are getting out in the community. We are showing up at these little girls' practices, showing them what it looks like to be us, and kind of giving that just hope and encouragement that they can do this one day if they want to. And from just a big sister standpoint, I've got 2 younger sisters that play, and they're worried about, as they should be, they're worried about their education, but they're like, what do I do? Like, I don't know what I want to do after. And I was like, well, do you like playing? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, then you get to keep doing that. Like, that's incredible. You get to keep doing that. And so really just continuing to just open opportunities and open doors for young girls is just huge. And I think just in general for women's sports, continuing to build in general. I mean, it doesn't have to be a women's hockey player or a girl that wants to play hockey. She could want to play lacrosse or, whatever it is, just continuing to grow that and to pioneer that for women's sports as a whole.
Okay, so I'm going to end this with a political statement. Don't get mad at me, but if ever a male that doesn't make it to the National Hockey League wants to come play in the PWHL, please do not let a male play in the PWHL. That is not a place for them. They can go play in the men's league. Yeah. Congratulations, Jincy. I couldn't be more happy for you, for all of your fellow female hockey players out there. You guys are going to be inspirations to many, many young hockey players across the world, not just America, but across the world. And I'm going to do everything I can do to promote. I know, Tim, you will do everything that you can to promote this league. Absolutely. It's way, way beyond time. And it should have been done a long time ago, but congratulations, and go knock the pants off it. Every single fan out there and show them what you guys can do, because it's really impressive.
And Jincy, JR, and I both have daughters, so it's important. We love what you're doing. It's so important for, you talked about going out to these girls' practices in Ottawa. I know what you do back here in St. Louis. It's awesome. We're proud of you. We're pumped for the league to start, and we are going to promote the heck out of it on our social media pages and so on. So good luck. We wish you all the best. We appreciate you joining us, and I'll hopefully see you at the Maryville rink in St. Louis this summer.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you having me on.
Awesome, Jincy. Go have a great first start next week, and again, we're just so proud of you. Go knock them dead. We hope you win the championship. First one to win the championship. Go get them.
Thank you guys.
All right, Jincy. Take care. Bye.
That was awesome.
Just amazing.
That was
awesome. Amazing.
So do I have?
Just click right off. Just click right off. Say, yeah. Thanks,
cool.
Jincy.
Thank you guys.
You're fantastic. We'll see you later.
Bye.
See, Tim, that's what we need. That's what we need in hockey. I mean, what an amazing, ambassador for the sport right there. Just in the way she speaks, how she carries herself, her excitement. I can't wait to watch this league. It's going to be fun.
And you know this just as well as I do. When I was working my way up to the National Hockey League in the IHL, the American Hockey League, college hockey, whatever, I said to people, and I say to officials here in St. Louis, I go, if you don't make the NHL, that's okay. Whatever level you attain, you should be proud of. Whether it's junior hockey, college hockey, whatever level. Hockey is just not the National Hockey League. We get in this bubble where we think the hockey is just the NHL. No, it's much bigger than that. It's all the levels. It's minor hockey. It's everything. It's women's hockey. I go up and watch these women's games here in St. Louis. They're phenomenal athletes, and that sport, hockey, as far as the female sporters' involvement is gone, it has grown exponentially. It's unbelievable. And I'm excited for it. I wish we had a team in St. Louis because I'd go out and support them and watch.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, I was serious when I talked about a male going and playing in their league. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Sorry, I went political, but I did. I'm sorry.
Oh, do you think?
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
No, do you think
that? I think all those women deserve to have their own league, and they should play in their own league, and they should make a salary like everybody else that plays pro sports. And again, let's just hope for the best. And by the way, again, great show. My Whiskey in the Wild, go to whiskeyinthewild.com to grab your chocolate orange whiskey. Thanks to Bet Online, our other very fantastic sponsor. It is Wednesday. We're going to go to Friday. We're going to start the weekend off with our tips. You said in the beginning of the show, we hammered our tips, our picks last week. Let's pick for Friday. Friday, there's a lot of games, so let's make some money for some of these bettors going into the weekend. They can have a good weekend. Who do you like on Friday? Bet Online lock. Your lock of the week.
My lock. I've been on a heater lately. Last week I took Vancouver. This week I'm taking tomorrow. The Islanders are at home to Washington. The line's $1.10, I think, because that's almost a pick'em game. The Islanders in Washington. But I like the way the Islanders are trending, so I'm going to pick the Islanders.
I'm gonna go to Friday's game. There's a lot of games on Friday, so you pick tomorrow's game. I'm gonna go to Friday, and Dallas has been playing very well at home. Chicago, for some reason, just can't seem to put a game together and win very many hockey games. I know they are in last place in the league again, but I'm gonna take Dallas -1.5. So it's not just the win. I think the win is a lock, but you'll be able to make a little bit more money, or at least get a little bit a better return on your money with a -1.5. Or if they lose, less money you can lose. So if I do miss my pick,
is Chicago going to get the #1 pick again?
I think they will. I don't see them with all their problems. Obviously, the Corey Perry issue, the injuries to Hall. I just don't see this team pulling together too many wins in order to get out of that last spot. And it's tough. It's tough for Connor Bedard. I mean, Connor Bedard's having a very good year. It's 30 points. He's playing good hockey. He has 13 goals. He's doing everything that's expected of him. He doesn't have any help. He doesn't have any protection. He is doing the things that I think we expect of him to do as the phenom that we all thought. Is he going to be that generational player like a Connor McDavid? We don't know. That's yet to be seen. But we saw what happened with Jack Hughes a couple of years ago when he started. He was small. Now he's lighting it up.
Yep.
You see Bedard's numbers. Bedard is having the same numbers that Connor McDavid had in his rookie season. So they're very similar in that aspect. I don't think you can compare Connor Bedard to Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is by far head over heels better hockey player than not just Connor Bedard, but everybody on the planet. But my hat's off to the way Connor Bedard has started in his first 33 games. He's got 30 points. Way to go, kid.
Can you imagine, Jer, if Chicago got Celebrini and Connor Bedard in back-to-back years? Celebrini, they're saying is, and I watched him in the World Juniors yesterday. They say he is the consensus #1 pick. Can you imagine if back-to-back years they got Bedard and Celebrini?
That's what they need. That's what they need. That's what happened. That's what happened with the Chicago Blackhawks in the early 2000s. They were losing. Next thing you know, they get Jonathan Taves in the top 3 picks.
Patrick
Then
Kane.
what happens? They get lucky on the lottery, and the next year they pick Patrick Kane #1. So back-to-back years, they got some phenomenal players, and that's propelled them to those championships by getting guys like that. And this is kind of the same thing in the making. Now, do the Chicago Blackhawks want to wait 5 or 6 or 7 years for that to happen? With 3 cups in 2010, 2013, 2016, I think they can wait. And I think that's kind of what's happening right now in Chicago.
Listen, this show, we need to wrap it up. You're in the Bahamas. I'm sure Tracy has made dinner reservations for you.
I'm going to Nobu, baby. I'm going to go eat some sushi at Nobu. So again, yes, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm glad you had a great Christmas. I highly suggest everybody look at Tim Peel's social media, see the present he gave his son. It was emotional. It was amazing. I love you as a person. I love you as a dad. I love you as a parent. Tim, you're a great man. Make sure he's safe on that bike, and I hope 2024 is a beautiful one, because that's the next time that I will see you is in the new year.
Sounds good, buddy. Love you. Have a great vacation. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Thanks, everybody, for another episode of Snipes and Stripes here at nofilter.net. We will see you here next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Again, you just don't get opinions like you do on Snipes and Stripes from the Snipes and the Stripes. Have a great week, guys.